So, it's been 10 years since Northlane dropped their pivotal album, Singularity. Does that make you feel old yet? Is that not one of the coolest drum cam shots you have ever seen? Anyways, man, I swear Australian metalcore was just unbeatable back in the late noughties, early 10s. We had Parkway Drive before they became Arenacore, Amity Affliction, Polaris had just dropped their first EP, In Heart's Wake with Divination, I Killed the Prom Queen, Die Hard is Murder, Make Them Suffer, and many, many others. It was just a great time to be a metalcore fan. I swear there was just something going on in Australia at that time, something in the water that just produced great, great metalcore. Now, in 2013, when Singularity dropped, I was in grade 12, or a senior in high school for you Americans, and my high school-aged brain was completely blown away by this record. The production was so crushingly heavy and crystal clear. The vocals were monstrous yet introspective. The drumming was incredibly creative, and of course, the breakdowns, which to my 18-year-old self was the most important part, were absolutely stank face-inducing. This album landed right in the sweet spot of the intersection of metalcore and djent. This album was released probably at the height of the spacey djent band era sound. So the influence of bands like Tesseract, Periphery, Volumes, Textures, and others are all over this thing in the best way. The atmosphere perfectly suits the introspective and soul-searching lyrics in a way that fits the music and did not seem contrived at all. I mean, the lyrics are just incredible as well. Let me just read you a passage from Dream Awake. We worship the sun, yet we burn in its rays. So we seek out the dark, so we seek out the shade. It's such a mix of emotions, we call it regret. Chaotic patterns unfold, it's such an elegant mess. So I'll embrace all the pain, it's time to face all my fears. I've had enough of this game, oh how it brings me to tears. And I can only be sure, one day I won't be alone, stepping into the future with the brightest of eyes. Let time stand still. For 1 second, please just stop. Incredible. Reading that gives me goosebumps. The riffs and guitar tone are cosmic and crushing. Unlike a lot of the contemporary djent bands, the spaciness and progressive nature of the genre and sound did not take away from the songwriting on this album. The songs are tight, there is no wasted time in any of these songs, and it feels like a song like Dream Awake could easily have been stretched to 6 or even 7 minutes, but instead, Northlane trimmed all the fat, kept it concise and punchy. There are mega hooks in every single track as well. When this dropped, it blew my mind. Instantly, I had to learn to scream like Adrian, and it was to this album which I honed my craft. Now, let's talk about the vocals for 1 second. The vocalist Adrian delivers a raw and incredibly emotional performance. I absolutely adore the sing-screaming he does in some places, although it obviously isn't the best technique, nor does it really sound the best, but it's just so genuine, and it's just so raw that it works, and it works really well. And of course, his growls are still to this day a benchmark for me. They're just so colossal. They're so colossal yet so clear. Man, is it ever so good. All the tracks are standouts to me, but I especially adore Aspire, World Beater, and Dream Awake. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on this album. What do you think of it when you first heard it compared to now? You know, it's been 10 years. I'm 10 years older, I'm 29 now, compared to when I was 18, 19 when I first heard this. You know, but I still love this album just as much, and unlike a lot of the other gent bands, the sound on this album just hasn't really seemed to age poorly, whereas for a lot of other bands, I think it has. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. Cheers.